We back. Yeah.
Malcolm. Next we got the Try Guys try 13 future technologies at Google.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. Why do Try Guys get to try everything?
Because they're Try Guys.
Damn it. We need a new name.
Try Daddies. Try Daddies.
Yeah. We need a new name. You ready?
Yeah.
Start at 3, 2, 1.
Find it.
Wait, what? Wait,
Oh, wait,
pause.
what?
Pause. What the fuck? Are they playing music on the fucking
for
fruits? Wait a minute. I'm confused. What's going on right now? Already, the first 3 seconds.
Say what?
Wait a minute. Are they playing
Yes,
they're playing fruits. All right. Fuck it. It's Google. I don't know. Start again at 3, 2, 1.
The Try Guys.
That's our theme song. We are here at I/O,
Are they
Google's
playing
annual
fruits?
developer festival.
Where developers from around the world come together to show off their hot tech.
Today we are going to get to try the technology of the future.
We're going to experience AR, AI, beeps and boops.
This video is sponsored by Google, and that's literally the only way we could be here, because you can't come unless you work on something cool.
It's 7,000 incredibly smart people, and we're here too.
Google has given us the keys to the campus, which means I can do whatever I want.
I think it's going to be an eye-opening experience.
Eye-opening experience. Isn't he the one who always got all the fucking corny ass jokes and shit?
Yeah.
My name is Marvin Chow, and I run consumer marketing at Google.
So you're looking for people here to have an eye-opening experience.
He's gonna keep going that out
I/O
there.
is basically a festival about the positive effects of technology. It's everything from experiments to new ways to look at technology we hope to bring to all the developers around the world.
I heard this is the hottest festival ticket in the tech circuit.
Personally, I'm trying to use this technology to make myself more beautiful. Is it possible? Maybe.
I went through like a brief programming phase, so I've made some graphing calculator games.
I'm here for 2 things today, fun and free stuff. I'm going to come home today with at least 3 computers.
So we're here to
Facts.
explore future technologies. What kind of future tech can we see?
You hear a lot about augmented reality, you hear about virtual
Yeah,
reality,
that's a
right?
big
Like,
thing.
augmented reality is literally placing digital objects in the world. Like putting a face filter on your face, like that's augmented reality. But it's going even further than that, like getting really close to animals.
Today, we introduced this feature called AR and Search.
So you may have all seen a great white shark in the movies, but what does it actually look like up close? So let's go ahead, search for great white shark on Google. As you scroll through, you get information on the knowledge panel, facts, but also see the shark in 3D directly from the knowledge
shit.
panel.
So imagine like a kid is like, oh, I wish I knew how big a tiger was. Right? You can show them
I
a
see a
picture
lot
of
of
it, but it's going to
nightmares happening.
You can do AR and Search, and you'll just see tiger life size right in front
Most
of you.
of my life, I thought that penguins were as big as me because I never saw them in scale with any other thing. And then apparently they're not.
I think most people kind of got a good idea of how big a penguin
I just thought they were big.
On 3, put your hand out to say how big you think a penguin is.
Alright.
2, 3.
I used to think they were here.
Guys, they're not that small.
Have you never been to a zoo?
No, so when I went to the zoo, I thought, oh, they only have the small penguins.
Well, there's only
Who's the closest?
Eugene.
How close am I?
You're a little off. You're about a foot off.
Tiny tiger, tiny tiger. Oh, technology is so fun.
He's right above you. Reach up, Zach.
It's going to go further than that with all types of things where when you need digital help in the world, that's going to help you there.
Through your phone camera, you'll be able to see overlaid graphics that are in context with the real world.
Amazing.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
that's
some
a
hot
whole
tech.
Google
festival.
Maps
Yeah.
will take you through the streets.
The only
once you
problem
arrive at a venue,
I'm thinking
then
that it's going to
this
be a
can
problem
give
in
you
the
more
future is
contextual information
pop-up.
of the venue itself.
So
Oh,
virtual
man.
reality
Yeah.
puts you in the augmented reality puts the digital in the real world.
Oh my God, you should work here. That was perfect.
Yeah.
You want to trade?
Eye-opening technologies.
He's gonna keep throwing it out there.
So Google Lens is a computer vision technology we have which allows us to understand things that we see through the camera on your phone. I think a great thing we launched today was menu mode on Google Lens.
Say you're at a restaurant trying to figure out what to order. You can simply point your camera. Lens automatically highlights the popular dishes at this restaurant.
How does it know what the best things on the menu are?
So it uses data from Google Maps. So using people's reviews, it will be able to pick out which one's most popular.
So I wouldn't have to eat everything on the menu to know what's best.
No.
This is really cutting into my business.
Right. He's been doing this whole time.
Really hard problems that we want to solve.
Artificial intelligence. How would you describe that for anyone who doesn't know what that is?
I mean, it's a big word. It gets thrown around a lot, but I think essentially it's this idea of teaching a computer to learn.
We developed an app called Dance Like, which basically helps you become a better dancer. We basically take a virtual fingerprint of you on the screen, and we give you feedback on how aligned you are with the dancer.
So this will be perfect for, say, I don't know, 3 really extremely, excruciatingly terrible dancers.
That's right, yeah. So let me help you get loose. There we go.
So let me help you get loose to get him loose.
Thank you.
Ned loves hip hop.
No.
Afrobeat, I believe, is very good for Keith. Advanced House 101. Oh, this is definitely Zach.
I can't do that shit. What the hell was that?
It's you doing the dance.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is we're trying to give you a very good instruction based on a body part identification.
You're crushing it.
Doing great.
You killed it.
Pretty good.
It's easier to learn when you slow things down. And if you do it in the slow-mo version, we can then basically speed you up and sync you with the real-time dancer.
Did y'all develop this because you're professional dancers?
I'm actually a terrible dancer.
The face of I.O.
Terrified in the face.
Technology is fun.
Nice.
I felt really good about that. I thought that I nailed it.
AI is basically like a 3 or 4-year-old. And I have 2 daughters, 7 and 5, and I think if anyone has kids, it's like teaching a kid to learn. You start to teach them how to read, learn letters, simple sentences. We're kind of at that stage.
We've developed a machine learning model that allows you to use your hand to create a character that will appear on the screen and then interact with
That's
it.
awesome.
So they're like shadow puppets to become more than that?
That's right.
If I just make one of these shapes like the horse. Oh my god!
Whoa, what the fuck?
There he goes. Wow. So
that's
what you're saying
lit.
is the character that's already there, the man, someone already created him and he's just in the story now?
That's right. So what we like is to sort of think about how we can use artificial intelligence to kind of recreate old traditional art forms.
Am I a man or a woman?
Wait, profile. Oh, you are a
woman.
Oh, you're a man.
Yay!
I think there are some people that just think about Google as the search engine, right? But you guys as a company, you're doing a lot to really impact the world.
Yeah. We're building things like digital assistants. We're helping with cancer research, all kinds of things that we think are helpful to everybody.
I'm Carla Bromberg, the program lead for AI for Social Good. Our program aims to accelerate the application of artificial intelligence and machine learning to the world's biggest humanitarian and environmental and social issues. We're doing bioacoustic sound research to understand whales.
You're protecting whales with AI?
Yes.
That's amazing.
There's a lot of whales in here.
Hopefully, we can just help protect and conserve more and more wildlife and understand more and more species.
Imagine if you had 19 years compiled of just you. What would that sound like?
This is our flood forecasting initiative. It's helping warn people when there's a flood so that they can evacuate.
Floods are the most common, deadliest natural disasters on the planet. 20% of flood fatalities happen in India alone.
This is a simulation of 48 hours of a flood zone. This is through the Google Public Alerts, and this shows you where a flood situation happens, both in Google Maps and Google Search. We hope this has a really big impact and also inspires other people, because there's a lot of other ways that we think artificial intelligence can help save lives and protect the environment.
You know, maybe technology is here to remind us that the real beauty is in the real world.
Oh, he's so cute!
They're like, all right, enough learning.
My name is Irene, and I'm a creative developer at a place called the Creative Lab. So we have a page called Experiments with Google, and it's a website where we collect projects from developers all over the world. Anybody can use it, and there's open source code if you want to learn how it was made.
So this is Seeing Music. It's part of our creatability experiments. And we worked with J. Allen Zimmerman. He's a deaf composer.
Did you say he's a deaf composer?
Yeah, he's a deaf composer. He became deaf later in life, and he teaches a bunch of different students, many of which also are deaf. And so we created a visualization tool for him and his class to use to visualize their music. It's using what's called a Hilbert scope, which is a really helpful way to visualize audio.
Wow. So when he was designing this, did he ever think? I said, did he ever think that it'd be used like this?
This is exactly how he hoped it would.
They're all saying in it at the same time, but a different note.
Oh yeah, okay.
Why do they sound like a barbershop quartet?
Yeah.
Well, it sounded
really nice. Wow. We should join the Google acapella group. If they had one, I'd put it in the video right now.
Why do they have an acapella group? Why does Google have an acapella group?
I don't know. Google has a lot of shit, so.
Do they just walk around acapella in all the Google offices? What's going on here? This is what fucked me.
Yeah.
That's a nice little jazz
That was
riff
nice
right
there.
there.
I work on a project called Magenta, which is working on using machine learning to enable artists and musicians to express themselves in new kinds of ways. We've made this algorithm that takes playing piano and maps it down just onto 8 buttons. And we figured what's more interesting than hitting buttons is touching fruit.
This is musical fruit.
This is, you know, the most musical fruit we could find.
How are they doing this shit?
Oh my god. Wow.
Sorcery.
That's the most I've ever found a banana. To be totally honest, I don't care how it works. I just want to touch the fruit. But how does it work?
There's 2 parts of it. There's the how does touching this fruit make sound, which is there's some electrodes that are stuck into each of these pieces of fruit. What we're here to do is actually taking these signals and turning them into a pitch.
What's interesting is you notice every time I touch it, there's different notes coming out.
Right.
And that's this machine learning model that's saying like, okay, well, if you're touching this a bunch of times, I'm going to try to make it sound something like piano. It's not just one note per thing. And also an important part of what we do, Magenta, is we're a big open source project. So if someone wants to make their own, they can just go to the web page and download the software and do their own thing.
Could I do it with dominoes?
You could do it with dominoes.
Wow, dominoes!
And 1, 2, 3, 4.
Have you had this many men touching the fruit at once?
Never. Never.
Cool.
At the end of the day, I learned a lot at Google. I saw technologies that wowed me, technologies that shocked me. What really left the biggest impact on me was the people. And at the end of the summer, the world hadn't changed. I'd changed. Thanks, Google I.O., for showing me all the wonders of the world. We have one more thing left. At night, this place gets turned. We're gonna play around in neon lights, and I'm gonna get as much free stuff as possible. Let's go.
Vegan ice cream for me included.
Thanks again to Google for sponsoring this video, but also thanks for making the world cooler.
I know I made a lot of jokes about this being an eye-opening experience, but it really was. I got to have my face be stupid. There were animals next to me that weren't really there.
The fact that we got to learn about technology that is saving the whales or helping prevent floods, that's amazing.
All of you watching at home who found us through a search engine, all of that was discussed probably 5 or 10 years prior at something like this.
Since the beginning of Google, we have been a company that's dedicated to really helping people. Our real hope is that, the interactions and the people that the developers meet, they spawn new projects and new ideas that are going to be super helpful in the future.
After today, I can confidently say the world's hottest festival is Google I.O.
Thanks, Google. That was truly
an eye-opening experience.
They're not going to make that the tagline.
Well,
That was awesome.
We know. This is so cool seeing a hologram of a choir.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. But what's crazy? The cynic in me is like, where there is good, there is evil.
And
Somebody's
Malcolm,
gonna
now that you
transform
speak of that,
AR and stuff